московского тренера Уджапалидзе Алексея Калистратовича. Тот был там, тренировал его. Потом Полянин приехал в Москву, находился уже 3 года в Москве, выступал за Москву, учился в Академии физической культуры. После этого уехал в Грецию, и вот не прижился там, сейчас переехал в Турцию. Вот его судьба.
Ну, судьба многих боксеров из бывшего Советского Союза в красной майке наш боксер и в голубой майке Полянин. Это уже весовая категория до 57 килограммов. Ну а Ильфат Разя по финале будет встречаться с Владимиром Сидоренко из сборной Украины. Кстати, Сидоренко это был второй украинский боксер, который вышел в финал чемпионата.
Разя сейчас хорошо провел справа атаку и заработал очко. Вот да. Сам пропустил удар сильный. Оказался в нокдауне. Застоялся.
Ну, Полянин очень опытный.
Да.
Очень опытный боец, поэтому любую ошибку использует. Ну, иногда он еще не трагедия, счет по ударам 1-1. Да, но вот сейчас не надо выпускать инициативу. И, может быть, советую чуть поспокойнее, холодной головой. Он пропустил удар и старается как можно быстрее отыграться. Да, наверстать упущено. Пропускает удары.
Да, Полянин очень опытный боксер. Хорошо чувствует дистанцию. Жесткий удар у него с левой руки. Закончился первый раунд.
Да, 2-1 пока впереди Полянин. Но на ваших экранах Саян Санчак. Боксер из Новосибирска выступает за клуб «Юность России». 24 года ему. Был бронзовым призером чемпионата мира в Будапеште. 173 боя на счету Саяна, из них 166 это победный. И у Сергея Гринчука он тренируется. Сейчас, правда, вы знаете, как-то немного неспокойно на душе после такого первого раунда, поскольку инициатива сейчас в руках турецкого боксера. Понятно, сказал турецкого. Да. Ну, турецкого. Сейчас за сборную Турции выступает Ромас Полянин. Ну, посмотрим, что будет дальше.
Untitled Chapter только должен идти вперед и набирать очки за счет жестких ударов. Иначе он обыграет его. Полянин по классу выше его, но по выносливости Untitled Chapter должен уступать ему.
Да, навязать плотный бой, за счет
да.
более физической готовности, более высокой.
Количество ударов побольше.
Замучить и победить.
Да, вот. Но быть внимательным, потому что в любой момент может очень жестко встретить.
Но Полянин ждет, караулит каждую возможность для встречной контратаки. Вот сейчас.
Да, еще пропустил. Да. Опыт есть опыт.
Перехватывает атаку нашего боксера и на встречное движение атакует.
Да, он только за счет своей выносливости может выиграть, если его плотнее вести бой. Полянин опять встречает очень жестко с левой руки.
Да, второй раунд полностью остался за Рамазом. Очень уверенно он себя чувствовал на ринге, и сейчас Саян оказался в очень тяжелой ситуации, поскольку счет тех ударов, которые арбитры зафиксировали, 2-5. 2-5. Очень тяжело будет изменить течение этого боя, поскольку Полиани пока очень уверенно контролирует то, как проходит встреча на ринге. Инициатива полностью в его руках. Но не теряют еще наши тренеры и болельщики надежду, что все еще можно переломить в этом поединке.
Да, боец он такой, с характером, он будет до конца биться.
Да, ну и надо рисковать здесь.
Да, обыграть не сможешь, но можешь за счет своей выносливости, за счет количества ударов, плотности боя можешь добиться победы. Кто-то умело задерживает руки так, в ближнем бою аккуратно придерживает так. Опытный мастер. Полиани ведь является заслуженным мастером спорта России.
Замечание получает Полиани за то, что отталкивал соперника. Нет, тяжело нашему боксеру, очень тяжело.
Ну, перехватил инициативу, еще одно очко набрал. Это все удары по перчатку, по защите.
Ну, взрыв нужен в концовке этого раунда.
Да. Вот.
Один прошел, левый боковой. Ну еще, прибавь, Саян, прибавь чуть-чуть. Чуть-чуть еще.
Концовка раунда.
Не железно же он. Рамаз Полиани.
Так.
Ну, концовочку провел активнее, да?
Да.
Наш боксер. Но пока это все равно разница в 3 очка, 6-3 в пользу Полиани. Ну, действительно, что говорить, очень опытный боксер. Он еще участвовал в Олимпийских играх в Барселоне, тогда выступал за объединенную команду. Там был третьим. 243 боя на счету Рамаза Полиани и 194 победы. То есть настолько солидный послужной список, который, знаете, так тяжело представить.
Да.
25 лет ему, за 25 лет очень много боев набрал. Очень грамотно, очень умело Полиани ведет бой.
Потом полраунда передвигался, по защите ему попадал, а в конце он одиночный удар встречный. И заработал очко.
Ну, концовка 4-го раунда осталась за нашим боксером. Все, ну, тяжело. Конечно, будет тяжело изменить здесь что-то в 5-м раунде, но надеемся мы.
Сейчас 4-й раунд еще впереди.
И снова наш боксер в атаке. Вот, встречные удары, очень мощные удары.
Не отпускать не надо, стараться отпускать. Вот так, да. Встречает ли он прямым. Да. Мастерство есть мастерство. характер, конечно, у Саяна отличный. Пытается вырвать победу. Но очень неточно бьет.
Рисунок боя не меняется.
Нет.
Санчат в атаке, а Полянин на встречных курсах работает и набирает очки.
Ну, сейчас еще Левантов все левым чисто еще набрал.
Да, еще раз попал.
Да, очень трудно обыграть этого спортсмена.
Да, 8-3 в пользу Полиани после четвертого раунда. Это совсем неприятные для нас цифры. Но не всегда бывает так, что...
Достоинство надо проигрывать тоже с достоинством.
Кого мы болеем, вы...
Да, он сейчас достоинство проигрывает. Он проигрывает боксеру по классу выше себя. Поэтому...
Это не так обидно, как сегодня проиграл дневной части Раимкуль Малакбеков.
Да, да.
Когда вроде все было на его стороне, в его руках, и соперник был вполне по зубам, но уступил наш боксер Сергею Данильченко из Украины. И на то место, на которое мы рассчитывали, от нас в финале уплыло. Но это еще раз говорит о том, что какой бы ни был класс, надо выкладываться на ринге.
Да.
Здесь сейчас, даже учитывая, что это все-таки чемпионат Европы, очень много молодых боксеров привезли в преддверии Олимпиады.
Да, для того, чтобы обстрелять ребят, чтобы посмотреть.
Но все равно в полуфинал очень сильные ребята попадают. И здесь их просто на классе не обыграть.
Да,
и
здесь
снова Саян в атаке.
Вот сейчас он стоит. Добрал щечку.
Не сдается, молодец, идет вперед. Пускай много проигрывает, но все равно идет вперед.
Да. Он сейчас будет передвигаться, не будет принимать боя. И... Да, молодец, стоят. Выкладывается полностью. Пропустил еще встречный. Пропускает встречный левый.
Да, левые прямые, конечно, у Полиани. Настолько грозное оружие, даже не представляю сейчас, как с ними справиться.
Да, вот придерживает Полиани. Опытный мастер. И чувствует, что он уже устал. Начинает придерживать соперника. Но не откажешь ему в точности ударов попадания.
Да, даже в пятом раунде,
да,
когда казалось, что сила не исходит, бьет он исправно, его левая прямая попадает почти в каждом раунде. Ну, в каждом раунде он такими ударами набирал очки. Ну все, уже последние секунды этого поединка.
Молодец, стоял. Достоинством проиграл.
Да, хотя и проиграл 4-9, но для него бронзовая медаль, это, я думаю, будет достойной наградой. Еще один бывший наш, а теперь турецкий боксер Нурхан Сулейманоглу ведет борьбу за выход в финал. А достался он белорусу Сергею Быковскому, который сейчас на ваших экранах. Это весовая категория до 63,5 килограммов. И после двух раундов счет 2-0 в пользу турецкого спортсмена. Ну а соперника Рамаза Пляни назвал второй поединок весовой категории до 57. В финале Полянин встретится с Артемом Симоняном из Армении. Ну а теперь смотрим, чем же закончится полуфинал в этой категории. Синяя майка у Нурхана Сулеймана Аглу, такая красно-черная у хозяина ринга Сергея Быковского, очень опытного боксера, 7-кратного чемпиона Белоруссии, серебряного призера чемпионата Европы 96-го года в Дании, в Эйле. Но пока Быковский проигрывает.
В первых двух раундах Быковский отдал инициативу, поэтому он и проиграл. А сейчас вот он пытается идти первым номером работать, но пока что у него не получается.
Ну не хочет Сулейман Аглу отдавать эту инициативу, да, потому что, знаете, так, он ведет, это чувствует и хочет удержать инициативу на протяжении всего боя в своих руках.
Опытный боксер, который выступает уже давно на всех крупных соревнованиях. Поэтому он так... И он сейчас будет, вот я пропустил, да, и будет придерживать соперника. Он одно очко отыграл.
Сам собрался атаковать, да, как-то руки широко развел, поэтому получил.
Не рассчитал, что он достанет. Вот выше ростом своего соперника. Вот немножко Сергей Быковский упустил момент, 2 раунда просто отдал инициативу ему, ничего не делал. А теперь надо наверстывать все это дело. Надо идти плотнее, вести бой, потому что он не любит плотного боя. А с дистанции он его может обыграть.
Ну, Сулейман Аглу он так и набирал очки за счет ударов, таких одиночных ударов,
да,
на дистанции.
Он не любит плотного боя. Вот сколько его видел, он все время 1-2 удара, и потом пытается придерживать соперника.
Очень активен сейчас Сергей, да, постоянно идет вперед. Ну вот в этом раунде он свою очко набрал и сократил отставание. Но мы уже говорили о том, что Сулейман Аглу очень боксер опытный, очень. Еще в 93-м году он был чемпионом Европы. Сейчас вот он на ваших экранах. Выступал на чемпионате мира в Берлине в 95-м году, там дошел до финала и завоевал серебряную медаль. И здесь очень рассчитывает на победу. Правда, его ожидают не совсем простые противники. В следующем полуфинале наш Дмитрий Павлюченко будет боксировать с Дорелом Симеоном, очень опытным боксером, чемпионом мира 97-го года. Так что здесь очень интересная категория, очень интересные подобрались боксеры, бойцы, и этот поединок проходит очень напряженный, очень интересно. Зрители подтянулись к этому матчу на трибуны Минского дворца спорта. Переживают они здесь за своего парня эмоционально, активно. 4-й раунд, 2-1 впереди Сулейман Аглу. Он так выставляет вперед левую руку, удерживая, как бы...
Да, но прямую руку не может держать прямой рукой, ему должен сделать судья замечание.
Ну, судья замечание не сделал по ходу сегодняшнего поединка.
Да, надо не отдавать инициативу Быковскому, идти вперед, но надо наносить удары. Не просто идти, надо с ударами атаковать.
Но сейчас пропустил
боковой удар.
Но чувствую сейчас Турок, что может потерять инициативу, поэтому активизировался в этом 4-м раунде.
Да, ну... 2 раунда Быковский просто отдал инициативу. Сейчас вот одно очко отыграл.
Да, но и тоже пропустил.
И тоже пропустил.
Ну, сейчас он просто бросается вперед. Слушай, да.
Если бы давали такой прием очки, то
Если бы так свалился, его противника победил.
Перевел Барковского войска в борьбе. Вот так, не дают очко. Хотя он не попал.
Что будет в пятом раунде?
Да.
Наверное, Клинку упадут. Вот еще один удар. Прошел Бутовского. 4-3 минимально уже преимущество.
Вот я говорю, как удары было сразу с первого раунда начинать атаковать.
Не может быть осторожничал.
Вот так.
Да, четвертый закончился. Минимальное преимущество. И только кажется, минимальное, я вижу, что, знаете, как-то публика завелась. Завелась, почувствовал, что здесь еще не все для них потеряно, и Быковский вполне может...
Да, поддерживая свои публики, он может набрать еще очки. Это придет ему гораздо больше сил.
Да, тем более, что есть на кого равняться. Сергей Дычков, еще один белорусский спортсмен, он выступал в категории до 91 килограмма, он выиграл у Кламена Тюрксона из Швеции. Ну, да, такой швед негритянского происхождения, уже в финале. Ну, а Быковский может добавить к своим 170 победам еще одну. Вообще 196 боев Сергей провел за 12 лет занятия боксом. Ну, а турок, вы знаете, сейчас довольно серьезен. Уже не так...
Озабочен.
Да, не так себя хорошо и уверенно чувствует.
Сейчас Сережа будет... Вот так. Чисто попал, но не дают.
Прижали судьячку?
Да, чистый удар был.
Сейчас чуть осталось, кстати, да.
Ну, очко его засчитали.
Засчитали, но...
Да.
Турок был в атаке, так явно наносил удары. Может быть, это судьи и подкупил.
Ой, если насчитали 5 очков, удары бьет, нарушая правила, а ему засчитывают очки.
Наверное, большой авторитет турецкий.
Да.
В судейском комитете. Это два уже турка в финале, и вот сейчас уже 3 очка преимущества Сулейман Аглу.
Да, очень трудно будет отыграть.
Очень тяжело. Но есть какие-то свои приемы подковерной борьбы, наверное. Вот сейчас 2 удара таких сомнительных.
Это явно, что судья остановил встречу и дал замечание за активную перчатку, а ему засчитали очко. Да, он теперь будет бегать. Сказали, что он выигрывает 3 очка, все. Он теперь не будет принимать бой.
Ну, это и ни к чему. Он чувствует, что уже подходит к концу. Где-то 30 секунд осталось до конца этого раунда. По-моему, вся турецкая делегация уже собралась, да, здесь переживает за Нурхана. Нет, не дают очков, не попадает сейчас Сергей. Где-то секунд 13 осталось до конца, до гонга.
Да. Сережа, надо было начинать с первого раунда, а не вырядить. И не дают очки. Хотя он достал.
Так, гонг 6-3 с таким счетом Сулейман Аглу выигрывает. Но мы можем сказать, сейчас, да, судьи дают очки за такие удары четко и явно выражены, когда голова откидывается назад. Итак, третий турецкий боксер уже пробился в полуфинал чемпионата Европы. А соперник Нурхана Сулеймана Аглу определится в этом поединке, где Дмитрий Павлюченков, россиянин, встречается с чемпионом мира Берлом Семеном. В красной форме, красной майкой, красные трусы наш боксер, в синем углу и, соответственно, синяя форма у румынского спортсмена. Очень серьезный соперник у Дмитрия, опытный, мастеровитый. Здесь, наверное, только полнейшая концентрация и самоотдача могут помочь Павлюченкову.
Да, вот опять уже глухая защита. Из этой глухой защиты Доров пытается нанести удары. Павлюченко тратит силы на то, чтобы бить по защите, а Доров сейчас вот выберет момент и будет контратаковать.
Ну что здесь можно предложить нашему боксеру?
Надо вызывать его на себя и вот встречной контратакой, работать на встречной контратаке. Надо вызвать, раскрыть соперника, чтобы он атаковал, дать ему возможность. И вот здесь перехватывать инициативу. Очень собран, весь закрыт, вот видно, все. Там не оставляет ни одного пространства для атаки, чтобы можно засчитать очки. Павлюченко ведет такой открытый бокс, пытается набрать очки, но все позащитно.
Да, один удар засчитали сейчас Семену судьи. Контратаку ему, конечно, легче набирать очки, чем нашему.
Да, он закрыт стоит, он переждет атаку и потом тут же ответит одиночным ударом. Что-то 1 минута прошла, по-моему.
Нет, так быстро полетели эти 2 минуты. Тяжело привыкнуть, потому что нет 3 минут 2. Но, к сожалению, вот эта система, эти правила оставляют простор для таких боксеров, которые большую часть матчей проводят в такой плотной, глухой защите, как Дорел и Семен. Ну а что, нашим остается только одно — атаковать, пытаться разорвать оборону румына. Удастся ли сделать это нашему молодому боксеру? Он из города Аксай, тренируется в спортивном клубе «Армию» Анатолия Черяева и Сергея Козлова. Ну и пока из таких больших успехов у Дмитрия только победа на чемпионате России 98 года в Белгороде, где он и получил путевку вот на этот чемпионат, и выступает сейчас в категории до 63,5 килограммов. Но пока он проигрывает 1 очко. Правда, весь бой еще впереди.
Ну, Дима, он такой боец, он боец плотного боя. Он идет сюда на обострение. Вот сейчас пропустил правый боковой удар. Но я сейчас чувствую, что Румын тоже пойдет на обмен ударами. Вот он готовит правый свой неожиданный удар боковой, жесткий. Казалось бы, весь скованный такой Румын, но в то же время он очень резкий.
Очень быстрый.
Да.
Ну, поймать его атаку тяжело.
Резкие, жесткие удары с обеих рук у него.
Ну, а тут румынские комментаторы требуют концентрации от своего боксера.
Да. Очень сложно Диме с таким боксером боксировать. Он ведь закрыт и в то же время контратакует резкими, жесткими ударами. Диму надо начинать по корпусу. С корпуса надо начинать атаку. Потому что сверху он весь закрыт.
Есть возможность, все-таки довольно высоко поднимает руки,
да. Срезал, да.
Браво, Дореле! Браво,
да, еще один удар.
Да.
Увидели боковые судьи уже со счетом 3-0. Семен впереди.
Да, у нас по жребию многие наши боксеры попали с румынскими боксерами еще в начале четвертьфинала.
Ну, надо вспомнить, что и Александр Малейкин, один из наших фаворитов, проиграл тоже. Не повезло.
Да.
Поединки с румыном, с Георгием Ломовым. Так, Дмитрий, ну здесь опять сложная защита, которую пробить тяжело, очень тяжело. Ну, наверное, какие-то Николай Хромов сейчас сделает замечания, но очень уверенно себя чувствует румыны на ринге. Ребята крепкие
и стойкие.
Стойкие, чтущие свою манеру, как им надо вести себя на ринге, их сбить, выбить из колеи как-то, заставить смутиться, заставить делать ошибки.
Тактика, она приносит им успех. Переждет, пока все удары пробьют по защите, и после этого контратакует жесткими ударами. Из 3 ударов 1 попадает точно.
Бокс, наверное, не очень зрелищный, но приносит результат, что это надо делать. Да, зрителям-то не очень интересно смотреть на такие поединки, когда победитель большую часть
глухой защиты, а потом, значит, один одиночный удар может решить.
А что тут можно сделать?
Ну, это, наверное, надо давать предложение. ВАИБа, судейскую коллегию, чтобы они пересматривали, как-то делали какую-то определенную, там, 3 секунды, может быть, в глухой защите, а после этого стоит еще делают замечания.
Там дают предупреждение.
Да, иначе бокс не будет зрелищным, и народ перестанет ходить на остальные альбомы. Да, 4 уже.
Да, уже 4-0. Свое дело здорово делает. Пробить его защиту нашему никак не удается боксеру.
Да, тот не идет на открытый бокс, не идет.
Вот обмен ударами его не интересует.
Не интересует, да, он пережидает.
30 секунды, 30 секунды!
Диме еще не засчитали ни одного очка.
У меня такое впечатление, что создается, что на этом чемпионате судьи считают только такие мощные акцентированные удары, когда...
Да, которые дошли до цели не беспрепятственно.
Да, 4-0 опытный румын впереди, но чемпион мира 97-го года, и в рейтинге Международной Федерации бокса он занимает 2-е место вслед за кубинцем Робертом Гуэро. Так что это говорит о том, что боксер действительно опытный. Хотя официально Доров занимается боксом всего лишь 6 лет, с 92-го года. Ну, сам он молод, 21 год, родился он 13 февраля 77-го года. В Бухаресте выступает за общество «Динамо Меркур». Ну, вот это его Георгий Семен и такой известный румынский боксер в прошлом Франциск Вастыч.
Вастак.
И постоянно нас путали, да. Как его правильно, Вастак.
Вастак. Очень сильный боксер был. Чемпион мира. Вот опять
та же самая
стойка, глухая защита, пережидает эти сейчас удары, 3-4, а потом начнет контратаковать.
Удары Свердловский, самое главное, действительно какие-то...
Он жесткий, в общем, боксер, жесткий.
Жесткий, но настолько быстро он выбрасывает руку вперед.
Он сейчас чувствует, что он выигрывает 4 очка, он сейчас полраунда может спокойненько перекрываться. И после этого концовку раунда также будет контратаковать.
Ну, очень мало работает Дмитрий по корпусу. получают оба боксера замечания.
Но он очень умело так пытается сделать. Если получается чуть-чуть головой идет вперед, он его дожимает,
да,
прихватывает, да, и создает впечатление, что он очень опасно идет головой вперед в Лещенко. Это опытный такой боксер, который как бы незаметным движением заставляет боксера нарушать правила.
Да, ошибаться, получать замечания.
Вот еще.
Да. Ну и первый удар нашему боксеру засчитали.
Да, Дима ничего не сможет сделать.
Он и так вроде подходит, и так подходит, но никак не получается разорвать оборону румына. И сейчас же разница в 4 удара, точных ударов впереди румынский боксер, 5-1. Здесь тяжело, конечно, было надеяться на то, что на равных поведет бой с чемпионом мира по Лещенко. Хотя, в принципе, он постарше своего соперника всего на чуть-чуть, на полгода. И боксом занимается побольше. Но, наверное, тут уже не в количестве лет, за которые ты занимаешься, дело. Талант, наверное, какой-то.
Да, ну вот он приобрел, как говорится, себе вот такую стойку, такое же положение в боксе, которое дает ему победу. И он совершенствует это. Он спокойно пережидает удары и тут же контратакует. Он приносит ему победу, он не пытается что-то усовершенствовать другое.
Ну, а добра не ищет, в принципе.
Да, только дает ему победу, значит, он это использует как свое оружие. Вот он сейчас переждет опять, вот, по защите, поуклоняется, а потом будет контржаться. Будет придерживать немножко. Открытый перчатка бьет.
Ну, замечание не сделал.
Замечание, да, но не предупреждение. Если он сделал предупреждение в этом, там он подумал, продолжать ему бить боковой удар или нет.
Да, а так последний раунд замечания для него
Да.
сейчас уже никакого значения не имеет.
Дима пытается переломить ход событий, но у него это не получается. Он почувствовал, что выиграет.
Сейчас он будет бегать.
Будет бегать, да, и неожиданно будет контратаковать. Сейчас это
хороший уклон. Ему сейчас даже приятно защищаться против таких наскоков нашего боксера.
Это он демонстрирует, что он уже победитель. Выбрасывает руку вверх, вперед. Вот.
Еще одно замечание. Безопасное движение головы румынскому боксеру.
Да. Дима молодец, говорится. Вот он сейчас, я говорю, концовку ровно пытается. Да, 6-2.
6-2 он уверенно впереди, пытается показать, что он большой мастер, умеет, знает, как проводить концовку поединка, вкладывается последние 20-30 секунд. Но нашему парню можно только сказать, что молодец, до конца боролся, до конца сражался, получает свою бронзовую медаль, но в этом бое победу со счетом 6-2 одержал чемпион мира Доровый Семен. А выступление этого боксера мы ждали с особым нетерпением. Олег Саитов только что был на ваших экранах. Наша надежда, ну, как сказать, надежда. Хозяин ринга Вадим Мизга, он в синей форме, встречается с Сергеем Зинзилком из Украины. Пока среднеукраинский боксер, 2-0, счет по ударам. И он более опытный, бронзовый призер чемпионата Европы 96 года в Уэлле и серебряный призер чемпионата мира в Будапеште. Бросается вперед белорусский боксер. Это понятно, за поединком наблюдает Николай Ананьев, министр спорта и туризма Республики Беларусь, вице-президент Олимпийского комитета, который вот приехал сейчас поддержать своего спортсмена. Задача у него, конечно, тяжелая, но счет-то не безнадежный, всего лишь 2 точных удара. Пятый раунд, в котором все решается. Определяется второй финалист весовой категории до 67 килограммов. Но Зинзерук мне больше нравится. Так, по ходу поединка.
Очень у него классическая стойка. Он правосторонний стойки боксирует. Очень четко чувствует дистанцию. Подвижен. Соперника не пропускает. Тут же встречает его. Очень аккуратно расходует свою энергию. Собран. Никаких лишних движений. Он ничего не остается Вадиму Мезга, как идти в атаку, но он его встречает все время.
Вот сейчас
прошел справа прямым.
Прошел прямой, еще 30 секунд. 30 секунд, и здесь все может решить один удар. Всего лишь один удар. Вот такой получился поединок. Атакует Вадим Мезга, постоянно в атаке. Но Зинзерук лишат, тяжело приноровиться к такому ведению.
Да, Сергей держит на дистанцию все время, не подпускает к себе. Осталось не так много времени до выхода.
Все, вот и закончился этот поединок. Мы как-то засмотрелись. Ну, 2 минуты. И победу одержал Сергей Зинзерук, который будет в воскресенье соперником Олега Саитова. Вот так закончились полуфинальные поединки в 10 весовых категориях. И об этих матчах вам рассказывали заслуженный мастер спорта, заслуженный тренер Советского Союза Борис Николаевич Никаноров и комментатор российского телевидения Дмитрий Анисимов. Ну и напоследок вот последние атаки в этом поединке, в котором победу одержал Сергей Зинзерук, боксер из Украины. Всего доброго!
Узнаете? Староалексеевская, 21 и Ленинский, 6. Это 2 крупнейших магазина, давно завоевавших доверие покупателей. Здесь всегда низкие цены и великолепный ассортимент.
Amateur boxing championships from Minsk in Belarus. My name's Steve Holdsworth. With me, Adrian Dodson. Adrian, we're really looking forward to the finals here this evening, aren't we?
We certainly are. I mean, this is going to be the climax of a very intense competition that we've seen several major decisions go in several different directions, and we're supposed to be watching the cream of the crop now.
Absolutely right. Our first bout this evening then features Kay Huster from Germany, the last German in the competition in action against the Georgian by the name of Gogaladze. Now this is a very interesting contest, this one. We've liked the look so far, haven't we, of Huster?
Yes, Steve, we've seen from previous bouts how successful Huster of Germany is at knowing how to use effectively the computer scoring system to his advantage.
Absolutely right. And we've got a few stats, of course, to give you as we go on here this evening, starting with the lightweight division, the 60-kilogram division. And Eugene McInerney of Ireland started off in the 60 kilograms. He was eventually beaten in the quarterfinals by Gevorkian, who duly lost to Gogaladze. So Kay Huster then, very impressive so far, brother of Falk Huster, who went out in an earlier round. So Huster then, in the blue vest of Germany.
As we've seen before, Steve, Huster of Germany, he does not exert himself too much. He just what's needed in order to score.
5th place Huster in the World Championships of 1997.
Very straight up, long, rangy style. Again, we're seeing southpaw versus an orthodox.
There's been so many of those, haven't there?
Certainly has been.
Gogaladze, by the way, one of 5 Georgian qualifiers. He's the only one remaining. And their last chance for a gold medal. But I've got a sneaking feeling that Kay Huster will have an answer to everything Gogaladze tries, don't you?
He certainly seems to have an answer for a lot of things. He knows he's very adept at using that computer scoring system, as I mentioned before. He doesn't exert himself too much, always that very high defense, and he tends to allow the opponent to do all the work and just do just what's necessary.
Absolutely right. Very computer friendly, as Adrian pointed out to you. And he doesn't take too many shots, this young man. Nice to see the crowds are built up at last for the finals. Of course, that's the one thing about an eliminating competition, is it gets better day by day. There's no rubbish at this level, believe me.
We do have a full house in attendance here tonight.
That's right, and we've got one reigning world and Olympic champion going for the Grand Slam later.
And that would be Saitov of Russia.
Right. Oleg Saitov of Russia.
A rarity, isn't it, Steve?
Absolutely.
Grand Slam meaning the Olympic champion, world champion, and European champion.
Absolutely right. Done, of course, by Dick McTaggart for Scotland way back in 1961. So there you are, the end of round 1, and not surprisingly, no score for both these lads on the computer. And we're seeing a lot of that. We're not going to moan about it too much tonight, but we're rarely getting bad decisions, Adrian. Is that true?
Yes, we've really seen some controversial decisions, but at times when we have actually thought that we've seen a winner, he ended up being the loser. But cautious opening round for both boxers. So I guess the score reflects the action in the round.
Absolutely right, yes. And they're bound to pick things up, of course. This is the big money round. If you thought the semi-final was the money round, this is big money. This is gold or silver. Of course, both losing semi-finalists pick up a bronze medal. And it's all to play for here. 0-0 after round 1. Round 2 coming up. 5-2s, remember, all of these finals.
Gugliev of Georgia, it just goes to emphasize the abundance of talent that's coming out of the former Soviet Union, having at least 13 boxers in this final.
Absolutely right. Well, actually, as you say, I mean, the Russians in their own right have qualified 12, and they've still got 5 in the finals. That's quite incredible. Of course, at one point, they could have picked from any of the satellite states in the old USSR, and of course, they always did. But now these satellite states are campaigning under their own terms, and they are coming through. But the biggest shock by far, in fact, 2 shocks. The biggest, I suppose, would be the exit of 12 Poles from the European Championships, but the emergence of a new nation. Turkey have got 3 men in these finals, and that's quite incredible.
Yes, that's very disappointing for Poland.
So the second round then, and Gogaladze in the red from Georgia, trying to work Kay Huster out, and better men have tried and failed.
He does not do much in between rounds. He just stands there and he utilizes that long range that he has, and when he does finally throw those punches, he does land with some very clean, visible punches that catches the judge's attention.
That's right. And he's obviously very intimidating as well, because you don't really see people try and command him, do you? You know, they kind of quite, well, they seem a bit miffed by his style. They stand back and allow him to dictate to them. And
yes,
as you can see, Gogaladze is being forced on the ring perimeter, and he's doing nothing about it.
Yes, even if the opponent tries to be dictative and try to take a lead in the round, he doesn't exert himself too much. He curls into that very crab-like defense that he has, and it's worked for him.
Very capable, cagey boxer, Kay Huster. Gogaladze of the southpaw, of course, much more what we're used to from people from Georgia. Yeah, just a one on the belt. Well, once again, no score after 2 rounds. We're not going to complain too hardly about that tonight. So, obviously, and that cornerman looks an awful lot like Picasso, doesn't he? Don't you think?
A slight resemblance. I'm not too much into the arts.
Okie dokie. So, Gogaladze on the replay here going forward, but once again we're seeing good footwork there by Huster. Nice little right cross, just falling a centimetre too low to catch the chin.
Must be said for all of these boxers who've actually made it to the final. It's a great honor for them to get here because, you know, they've gone through so much intense emotional roller coaster, both physically and mentally.
That's right. Worth reminding our viewers, of course, that you yourself twice fought in the Olympic Games. The first time in '88 in Seoul for Guyana, and the second time for England, of course, or Great Britain, in Barcelona.
Yes.
And as well as being a former world title challenger. Is that fair?
It's fact.
And of course you should have actually been boxing a week ago for the WBU World Middleweight Championship in Italy against Silvio Branco.
Yes, I was meant to be boxing contesting against Silvio in Sicily, but due to a stomach virus I had to rescind. Anyway, that was an accidental trip there. I guess that's a clash of the lead feet of both orthodox and southpaw boxers.
Yes, that doesn't happen a lot. And as a southpaw yourself, do you find often colliding with the leading hand and feet?
It is unavoidable at times because of just the position of the feet and also emphasis on the style. But what we can see here, Guglev is certainly taking the bout to Huster of Germany. He's trying to dictate the pace. He's getting a few on the inside with the punches, but again, he has to hope that those body shots are counting.
Which they're not, of course. They rarely do in amateur boxing these days, but Gogoladze, as Adrian so rightly pointed out, has changed tack here completely. He's not going to allow himself to be dictated to by Huster in this round anyway. But the problem is, he's using quite a bit of energy, but is he getting anywhere?
Well, based on previous experience, we've seen it actually hasn't counted for anything. I mean, if for an objective individual watching this contest, the boxer who's actually doing the most work and using the more hand movements, it is actually Guglev of Georgia. He's dictating the pace. Gogoladze.
It's a difficult name, that one, Gogoladze, but we will be forgiven for the odd mispronunciation, I'm sure. A little left there from Huster. Well, the Georgian cornerman there just told to stop the verbals.
He just comes out, Huster of Germany, with just the odd occasion, those little flurries, and back into that crab-like defense.
Well, I wonder where the score's going to go this time. Well, 1-0 to Huster after 3 rounds. Huster of Germany in the blue, 1 point in front at 1-0 against Koba Gogoladze of Georgia.
Gogoladze's corner would have surely advised him that he's one down in this round.
And yet the irony was he came out and had his best round.
Yes.
Yes, it's true to say that amateur boxing has largely shot itself in the foot over the last 10 years. The introduction, of course, of this scoring system for one, head guards for another, and incredibly officious officials for another.
Yes.
But do we forgive them, Adrian, or not?
Well, it's hard to use the word forgive if it's being used consistently.
Yes, because they are in terrible danger of ruining the sport. There are, of course, breakaway bodies in Wales and Scotland. I was chatting to one of the members of the Scottish breakaway this morning, Ian Hislop, and I sympathise with them, and I think as much support as they can get, the better. Because something has to change. But anyway, back to the action here. Gogoladze once again trying to prise open this awfully difficult target. Kay Huster, very crabby on occasion, isn't he? He knows exactly how to nullify you.
Gogoladze, he's applying the pressure. He's actually trying. He's using both body and head shots. And as we've seen before on many occasions, Huster, he's getting a warning for a low blow there.
Well, it looked pretty well placed to me, actually.
Yes, it certainly did to me, too. But Huster, he doesn't necessarily do too much. And he's not necessarily the best boxer we've seen when it comes to skill. He just knows how to effectively work that computer scoring system.
That's right.
Advantage.
Very effective man.
I guess if lovely right hand there by Huster, clean shot. which is what he does consistently. When he does throw punches, he knows how to make them land.
That's right, and once again, poor old Gogoladze there, just landing on leather and rubber.
Very well guarded. It's sort of like a crab-like defense, isn't it? I'm sorry to keep bringing up the same point, but it's...
No, it's very effective. Very effective, I'm sure. Well, interesting that they even missed that right hand. So, there is Kai Huster of Germany, 1 point in front. And this 23-year-old from Berlin has only got to cruise through the final round to become European champion at the lightweight division for 1998. And I'm sure he would have much preferred a family double, Adrian, wouldn't you?
I would have if I had a brother. But that will be a great personal accomplishment for him, totally. Champion of Europe. More when he wakes up, it'll start to sink in then. That's barring any unforeseeable events, Steve.
Absolutely right. And it was always been our pick, in fact, for this lightweight European Championship. Kai Huster, he's looked the part, hasn't he?
Yes, he's
And believe it or not, over his first 3 bouts, he only had 1 point against him. So, 5th and final round then, and Koba Gogoladze needs a knockout to win this one because, I say, he's only 1 point behind, but everything he's done so far has accounted for nothing.
Certainly the more active boxer in the round so far, Gogoladze of Georgia.
I mean, for my money, you know, although the punches might not be getting through cleanly on target, he's certainly the busier of the two and has been over the final, this round and the previous round.
The average viewer looking at this has to be aware that it's all about computer scoring. Lovely body shot there by Gogoladze. But again, whether it's being computed is a different story.
That's right, and don't forget, any 3 of the 5 ringside judges must within 1 second of each other press a red or blue button to register a punch. And we're finding that's completely beyond them most of the time. A task best left to 13 and 14-year-old boys, I'd suggest.
This being the final round is his only last chance Gogoladze has to become European champion, European amateur champion. So everything will be going through his mind now. Obviously, he would have been advised in the corner what he needs to get, basically a knockout.
And, you know, the chances of catching Kai Huster with a knockout punch are so remote. Oh, that's a good right there, catching Gogoladze coming in. No, it took him off his feet, didn't it?
Yes. A little off balance there coming in with that punch, because he's literally winging that. That shows his intent and his determination. He really wants to win this.
Well, unfortunately, medals aren't won on will alone.
We're hearing a lot of advice coming from both corners here.
And once again, this is good work by Gogoladze. Don't forget also, in the event of a level score at the end of 5 rounds, and that's it all over now, and they have a count back. And it looks like Kai Huster, well, he's won it 2-0. Now, is that justice, Adrian?
Well, it's justice if you look at it from the point of view of what the judges are looking for. And they're looking for the guy who actually lands the clean shots. I believe, personally, Gogoladze has landed several clean shots that had not been computed. But again, we've seen in previous contests, Huster of Germany seems to have a knack.
Right, that's right. And Huster, by the way, the last remaining German of 9 qualifiers. And he is the gold medal winner. And also this Georgian, only 1 left, by the way, out of 5. He takes silver. He takes silver. So,
A very good turnout from the locals.
absolutely right. Yep.
Good audience.
Here we go then for the official score. So Kai Huster then declared the European champion for 1997.
Награждение победителей чемпионата Европы.
So the 5th and final round then of Stapovich of Lithuania in action here against Kazakov of Russia. And interesting match this one. Ivan Stapovich of Lithuania against Sergei Kazakov. And of course the Russians have done so well here, one of 5 finalists. And this lad in blue.
Both boxers, the 2 boxers coming out here in the last time, but they're on the line. It's now or never, Steve.
Absolutely right. And this 21-year-old Kazakov, Russian champion, coming into this. And it's not a bit of a bad-tempered exchange there. And this is Lithuanian, by the way. The last remaining of 7 qualifiers. And once again, an all-southpaw match. And we're seeing a few of those, you know.
We've seen quite a few of these, haven't we, Steve? Again, it's a little bit unfortunate for the loser of each contest. I mean, 10 years from now, we remember the winner, don't we?
That's right. And of course, in the quarterfinals, Oleg Kiryukin, bronze medal winner in 1996 in the Olympic Games, went out to the Frenchman Thomas Jerome, who was subsequently beaten. So one bit of a shock there. Also, in this light flyweight division, another bronze medalist from Atlanta, Rafael Lozano of Spain. He went out.
Referee is just wiping
bit of blood, yes.
There.
And Paul Lakatos of Hungary, he also went out in a very competitive weight division. So the winner here, and it looks like it's going to be Sergei Kazakov, who's 4-0 up after 4 rounds. This looks pretty safe for him. Well, there's not long left now, and once again the referee there, just taking away that blood.
Good vocal support there by the local supporters. You get the guy in the drums there.
Yes. And of course, Belarus have also 1 man in the final from 8 starters. Once again, this has been an awful clash of styles between these two.
Yes.
And Kazakov, the nicer boxer by far, and he really has commanded this one at long range. And it's all over now, bar the shouting, so Kazakov knows he's won it. In fact, he still gets it 4-0 there at the end of 5 rounds. So good win for Sergei Kazakov, and that means he is the light flyweight gold medalist for 1998. And of course, it also means that his opponent, Ivan Stapovich, gets silver.
Good results for the Russian team.
And here's a slow motion of the bantamweight the flyweight final, my apologies, between Ilfat Razapov of Russia in action against Vladimir Sidorenko of the Ukraine. It's one of 3 Russian-Ukraine finals. And there you are, Ukraine. A big upset there. A big upset there. The Ukrainian winning 5-0. And that's a great win for Sidorenko. And this was Danilchenko of the Ukraine against the Romanian Alexandru. This again a cracking match, and well, another Ukrainian gold medalist there for the European Championships for 1998, their 2nd successive champion. Then the featherweight division produced another champion, and of course this one was between the Turk, one of 3 Turks in the final, by the name of Ramaz Paliani in action against Artyom Simoyan of Armenia. And there you see the Turk, the first European champion for I don't know how long, Adrian.
Possibly a long time.
Excellent win then for Ramaz Paliani of Turkey. So superb performance there from Paliani.
He's been one of the better boxers we've seen so far.
Absolutely right. And 3 qualifiers. Quite incredible for Turkey there. Well, still to come tonight, we have got the light welterweight final between Simeon of Romania against Suleiman of Turkey. And let's see if the Turks can upset the apple cart again.
By Simeon of Romania. Very strong.
But the Turks have been a real revelation, haven't they?
Yes, they surely have come on strong over the last few years. And they're very consistent, too, in these major competitions.
Daryl Simeon, by the way, only 21. World champion in 1997. And as Adrian has pointed out, already trained by Francis Vastag, a man who ended Adrian's Olympic run back in 1992.
I wasn't going to mention that, Steve.
Sorry about that, Adrian.
It's okay.
Good fight, though.
In these final bouts, you have a tendency that no one wants to give the other the edge, you know. There's a lot on the line. There's, you know, one will be obviously the European champion, and the other goes out the loser. So there's a lot of thinking going on at the same time, a lot of anxiety.
And although Simeon is reigning world champion, I tell you something, this Silimanoglu, he looks like a decent fighter.
Yes. He's got that long range.
Where are they going to go here? Well, 1-0 to Simeon of Romania at the end of round 1. Not really surprising, I don't think.
No, he landed a couple of free shots in that first round.
Yes. But it's interesting. I've got a feeling that we haven't seen the best yet of Silimanoglu. There he is. So check the replay there for round 1.
He has to be careful, Silimanoglu. We're seeing in the replay here that poking, ranging hands that he's got cautioned for before, had a point taken away from him in his last round, the last contest he had.
Good right hand, left hook there from Daryl Simeon. Good work from him. Right, let's see how this Turk responds in round 2. It's a bit of a sprint, Adrian, isn't it, 5-2s?
It is, and it certainly is a huge difference from what I was doing before.
3-3s, of course,
yes.
Yeah.
And a big adjustment for these guys, too, because it's only been recently implemented.
Yes, they still do all their training over 3-minute rounds, of course, in the gyms, and I think it was a retrograde step, to be honest with you, to drop the distance to 2-minute rounds. Anyway, we'll see. So round 2 then, and Daryl Simeon looking altogether a much lighter man than Nurhan Silimanoglu of Turkey, but he's 1 point in front after the first session.
Beautiful body shots being executed there by Silimanoglu of Turkey.
And he really does fancy himself as a banger, doesn't he, this Turk?
Yes. Again, he has to be careful with that hands. You know, we've seen the referees have cautioned him before for that offense. I know you don't think much of that, Steve, but they're very stringent with certain things in the amateur ranks. Those shots coming from Simeon of Romania seems to have everything behind it, doesn't it, Steve?
Certainly do.
That grunt goes on.
These are 2 very attractive fighters, no doubt about that.
2 merited finalists here we're watching it.
And this was the division, of course, in which Kevin McIntyre of Scotland competed. And also Dmitry Pavlyuchenko of Russia. So it's been a very competitive division, hasn't it?
Yes, it has been. We've seen some of the better competition, the better fights in this actual weight class in the welterweight. Selimanoglu, he's dictated this round, in my opinion.
But he hasn't got any points for it.
Yeah. Makes a fool of us, doesn't it, Steve?
No, Adrian, it makes a fool of the system.
Good point.
See, look, he's just being told he's 2-0 behind now, and we found that 2-0 very hard to peg back. Judges having severe problems here scoring. There he is then. Istanbul, not the Turkish capital, of course, that's Ankara, 27 years of age. This is probably his last tilt at the European title.
Possibly, if he chooses to stay around, you know, the rules until he's 34 years old, so he does have a couple of chances if he so chooses. But I'm sure he would have been aggrieved at seeing the disadvantage in scoring here.
Yes, he was told at the end of round 2 he was 2 points behind here, Selimanoglu, and he'll be coming out now for work. And it's interesting that Dorel Simeon, though, you know, he is a reigning, 1997 world champion. I mean, he's a good fighter, good quality man.
Good quality boxer, puncher, also very well adept at, again, using the computer scoring system. We've seen many of the champions that we've actually seen who were outstanding. They're not much to style, they're not that much exceptional, but they just know exactly how to use the computer scoring system.
Yes.
And they're consistent with it, too. Lovely counter left hook there by Simeon. Caught Manolo just on top of the head guard there. We're seeing literally no movement, no upper body movements, nothing. Just basically looking for the opening to land that jarring punch.
And he's got a very tight defense as well, Simeon.
Yes. Sort of a peekaboo style. Lovely up hook there.
Very aggressive man. In fact, he would do well at any level, wouldn't he, Simeon?
Yes. He has that, he's very, when he comes over the top with that punch, he seems to put everything into it.
Well, it looks like it might be disappointment for Turkey in this light welterweight final. Although they have got already 1 gold in the featherweight, and they've got 1 more try to go.
Pacing himself very well, Simeon of Romania. I mean, there is a tendency in the finals, your anxiety get the best of you. Here he is being coached by former world champion Francis Vastak. Lovely 1-2 there by Selimanoglu.
Yes, he's doing very well here, Selimanoglu, and I wonder if that's going to be reflected on the scorecard. We've seen some good work, though, from Dorel Simeon.
Good competitive bout so far.
Yeah. There's never been much between them either, has there?
No, not really.
Where have they gone? 4-1. Once again, just to remind you, Dorel Simeon of Romania, 4-1 now, after 3 rounds in action here against Nurhan Selimanoglu of Turkey.
A very decent result for Romania and the debutant of Francis Vastak in this championship, having 2 boxers in the final.
Absolutely.
Say. Lovely combinations there thrown by Selimanoglu.
Yes, and it's worth mentioning that Romania had 10 qualifiers, by the way. They're down to 2. Simeon's one of them.
Lovely uppercut there used by Selimanoglu. He's executing some very well-timed punches that he's actually caught Simeon clean several times here. Back. Caution there to the Romanian corner.
And of course, the other Romanian, Marian Alexandru, went out in the bantamweight final to the Ukrainian Danilchenko. So, it's all to play for here for Romania and Dorel Simeon. 1 gold medal they can take, and looks like they're going to.
Some very fiery exchange there by both of these guys.
Yes, it's an attractive match, this one.
Yes.
Shame there's got to be a loser here. But you'd have thought that even if Selimanoglu entered at welterweight, he might have had chances, mightn't he? He's a big lad.
Yes, very big. He's coming on strong here.
Once again, this tigerish Romanian. He's irrepressible.
He just wings those shots in. It's as if to say, how dare you be here in front of me.
Absolutely, yes.
But Salomonolo, he's coming back. I mean, he's caught Simeone with several clean shots.
Well, 6-2 now in favour of Simeone. And I was mentioning earlier, you know, about the Turks have done so well here. The Greeks also did well. They had 5 qualifiers. And of course, there's boxing in the first week, and in fact, the 4th of June, professional boxing in Ayia Napa on Cyprus. There he is then, from Bucharest, 21 years of age.
You have everything in front of him.
Yes, reigning world champion, 1997. He picked that one up. And it really does look to be the start of things to come, doesn't it?
Yes. I believe Romania has just actually signed up with the professional organization, the Union, Boxing Union, European Boxing Union. So they do have a choice of becoming professionals if they so choose.
Absolutely right, and I'm sure they will. But it looks like this one's going to run away now from Salomonolo of Turkey. He's got 1 round to go to try and... Well, we've seen it's completely impossible to get 4 points back, but the knockout here requires at this stage...
Yes, once they've established a rhythm, it seems very hard to draw that gap back. So Salomonolo have a lot to do here. He started out excellent. He's caught Simeone with 2 clean shots there. A little bit of tug of war going on.
I've got a feeling that the right man's going to win this one, Adrian, don't you?
Yes, so far, I mean, with all due respects to Salomonolo, Simeone has landed the more cleaner, better-looking shots, and it has been scored and computed.
But this is an attractive match, and it's delightful to see the referee just allowing these 2 lads, well, until that, to go at it, hammer and tongs. It's something you don't often see at this level in amateur boxing anymore. Of course, in the club shows that I go to quite regularly, this is exactly what you see, but it just seems to peter out at this level, doesn't it?
Yes, a very good competitive match, this is. Both boxers have thrown a variety of shots here. Good uppercut landed by Salomonolo.
Absolutely.
He's actually in this contest. I mean, it's a pity he's that down on deficit. But you can never tell, Steve. 1 punch can change everything.
Yes. But this Simeone does look to be a world-class... Well, he's world champion, but he's a world-class performer, no doubt about that. Very hard to nail with a clean shot.
Very aggressive.
And as you can see, he does possess a very impressive arsenal.
Yes.
Oh, and is this standing count? There's not.
He's being cautioned by the corner again.
Well, there's your old mate Vastag there. He's
Yes.
going to have to get himself kicked out. That'll cost Simeone a point. If it was a close match, that could be a crucial factor.
Yeah, but you have to forgive him there, Steve, for his little inexperience, after all.
Yeah, getting carried away. And, you know, I'm actually one for decriminalising corners, screaming and shouting. I think it's perfectly acceptable and should be allowed, provided they both do it, I suppose, to the same degree.
Natural reaction, huh? Obviously, Simeone must be aware of that he's ahead, so he's actually on the back feet now.
Good fighter.
Yes.
So too, of course, Salomonolo. No doubt about that. But there's only one winner. 9-3 then. 9-3. Romania have got 1 gold medalist. And of course, a reminder, they started with 10 qualifiers. And they got 1 in the light welterweight division. And they'll be delighted with that.
And a very happy Francis Vastag, who can now call himself coach of the European amateur champion at light welterweight.
Absolutely right.
Good
Excellent.
results for him, too.
Yep.
Победу в этом бою со счетом 9-3 одержал Дорин Симеон, Румыния.
In the welterweight division, Oleg Saitov in the red vest did the Grand Slam, Olympic, world and European champion, beating Sergei Zintaruk of the Ukraine in the 67-kilogram final. Excellent work there for the Grand Slammer and possibly the boxer of the tournament.
Yes, I thought that he showed a lot of variety, a lot of skill.
And my mate Danny Shinkwith from Watford said, "Hey, I really rate that Saratov." Well, they are, Danny. He's now a Grand Slammer.
His number one supporter there, maybe his family, who knows. But great accomplishment. It's a pleasure to be here to actually see the Grand Slam achieved. Not very often we actually see that. Who was the last person to win the Grand Slam?
Dick McTaggart was, well, I mean, I'm sure it's been done before. Probably the Germans have done it, but I know Dick McTaggart did it in 1961 for Scotland. So there's Oleg Saitov, European, Olympic and world champion. So to come then, we have got an interesting match between Aslan of Turkey and the last remaining Frenchman by the name of Erdei. Stay there. Erdei of Turkey. He's facing of France. France, of course, with one man left here in these finals.
We've seen Erdei of France against Chris Bessie.
That's right, he put Bessie out the fourth round stoppage.
He employs a no-nonsense style, very strong, compact, and extremely aggressive.
And a hard puncher too, but Bessie, a bronze medal winner for England. He's done exceptionally well. And also in this division, Chris Bessie put out the unfortunate Welshman, Kevin Short. Bad luck of the draw there for Short, I thought, in the first round match. So round one then, and the Turks here looking for their second gold medal. They got gold in the featherweight division. They just picked up a silver in the light welterweight division. What do you reckon?
He starts out with that very fast jab, Erdei of France. Very strong, sort of like a movable object.
Yes, he's very hard to budge. He tends to just trundle forward. Not a great deal of science about his work. All he wants to do is get you within punching range. And then they start to fly, don't they?
Yes, and they certainly do fly.
Yes, I thought Chris Bessie was very unfortunate to have been stopped in four by... in fact, it must remind people that Eno actually threw the towel in, much to my dismay.
He did, but this Erdei, he's very strong, very aggressive, and he's very hard puncher too, isn't he? As you can see here, that no-nonsense style, it just walks right in. Not much to any kind of a style or tactic, it just comes right at you. Aslan must be thinking to himself, what do I need to do here?
Erdei, 22 years of age, 7 times, by the way, the Turkish champion, and also world junior champion in 1997, so very good form there. Turkey, an emerging nation on the world scene in amateur boxing. Erdei, 25, and he's the reigning French champion, trained, of course, by Dominic Nato. And good footwork here by this Turk. Nice body shot. Doing well, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's boxing good from the outside, long range, using a jab. He's using his leg and working very well, Aslan of Turkey. But again, he's got that movable target in front of him.
Well, I reckon... oh, that's fascinating. I would have thought that Aslan Erdei would have had a couple of points on the scoreboard at that stage, but 0-0 it is.
I'm used to that now, Steve. The first round, second round, no scores being...
Yes, I agree with you. We have come very used to that by now. So once more, a touch of replay here. The advancing Freddie Erdei. And some good footwork there by Aslan Erdei.
The viewers, Steve, the better boxer not necessarily comes out the victor, is the one who actually lands the more computer-friendly scores that the judges see.
That's right.
And press within a second of each other, 3 judges having to be out of the 5.
That's right. So, Aslan Erdei, then one of 11 Turkish qualifiers, 3 in the final. Fantastic achievement. And the French had 9. And And this is the last remaining representative, so they want to do well with this man. Silver medal, of course, not to be sniffed at. Nice double left hand then from Erdei. There's nothing scientific about his approach at all, is there?
Nothing whatsoever. Just come right at you.
Look right there, right through the middle from Erdei. And once again, you know, we've got a case of a Turk looking a whole division bigger than their opponent. That's what we had previously.
Maybe they have some sort of nutritional program that we don't know about, Steve. But they certainly do look a lot bigger than their fellow competitors at each weight.
And we thought Erdei was a big lad.
Yeah.
Once again, good work there from Erdei. And we've not really seen Frederick Erdei yet let the punches go from both hands, and principally because he can't find the target for long enough, can he?
Yes, he can. But again, he would be also very much aware to the fact that not much is needed to be done other than just to let those bombs go that he has and hope that those spectacular punches will catch the judge's eyes, which they do.
They do.
And that's what they're looking for. The technical ability and the style and finesse is basically on the back burner. It's more of effectiveness and those headshots.
Yes, we're not seeing the true abilities of these boxers, of course. We're seeing men who must, of course, they're forced into playing to the computer, and that's a tragedy. But anyway, where have they gone? Well, once again,
no scores.
Right, rather than say there's no score, let's say they both scored 10 points each.
That is not registered.
So the 7 times Turkish champion then, Aslan Erdei, there in the red vest, taking a right from Erdei of France. But using the ring well, he's got some good footwork.
Very good skills in getting out from that corner.
They are from the Turkish capital of Ankara, where east meets west.
And a very huge Turkish contingent here in the crowd. They were very vocal also. That could be of a great help for each boxer in the ring, depending on who they're supporting, because sometimes you do need that just little bit extra push.
Did it ever affect you in international competition to have people shouting for you?
It's actually very beneficial because, you know, those who are knowledgeable are reminding you constantly of what you need to do.
That's interesting because I never had anyone shout for me.
Maybe you weren't listening, Steve.
Anyway, some good punches from Erdei at the start of this third round. 0-0, of course, coming into this one. Once again, Frederick Erdei just trying to walk him down.
Yes, he caught Aslan at a very stiff jab there, which jarred his head back. Another jab there, but again, Aslan comes back with 2-3 shots. Another one of these competitive fights. I mean, that's not to say that we don't expect it to be competitive, but it's a pleasure to see. They're actually putting everything on the line.
Yes, just getting to the last 16, of course, in a competition of this magnitude is some achievement, but to have got to the final is really quite something else. I imagine that some of these lads have actually been in a state of shock.
Both of these boxers here are putting everything into their punches, even their vocal ability, too.
I mean, you know, you've won a hatful of championships as an amateur. You know, did it ever come to you as a shock to get to the final and actually be declared the champion at the end of it?
No, because actually, you know, great shots, good exchange here being landed by both boxers. But going back to the question, I mean, you have a program you set for yourself, and you have your own internal visions how you feel you can do in a competition, and it's just a case of going out there and executing everything that you've prepared for based on each opponent you have.
A couple of shots there on the break from Aslan Erjement. And every time I won a championship, it was just a pure fluke. Anyway, oh, that's very interesting now. Now, I don't think that score's right, do you?
Well, he has landed a couple of clean shots. Again, as I said before, it's a case of what the judges are looking for, and it has to be computer-friendly. They're looking for the more effective jarring punches, and Erdei has actually landed some of those punches. Selimanola has landed those too, but again, whether they're being scored is a different story.
Yes, Aslan Erjement there, I'm sure very disappointed to have gone back to his corner to realise he's 1 point behind against this Frenchman.
Technically, Aslan is much more superior to Erdei. He's been the more busier of the two, but we've seen several times. We don't want to keep emphasizing on that. It's just the way the rules go.
So round 4 then. That's the score after 3, 1-0 to the Frenchman, Freddie Erdei in the blue vest. And, well, I've got a feeling that this is going to be a bit of an upset here. Turkey looking for their second gold medal. And it's on the shoulders of Aslan
Beautiful
Erjement.
1-2 there landed by Erdei. He got a double up on the head and the body and head. This box is becoming both very intensified now. They're both standing there. Good right, overhand right landed by Erdei.
Well, it's ironic that Erdei there's got those gloves cupped around his head. He simply can't be hit on the target.
Yes.
And body punches don't count for a thing.
Some of the punches that Erdei has actually landed on Aslan is not necessarily clean, but just the weight of his hands actually moves. Lovely uppercut landed again.
They seem to have been told, don't they? You know, as long as you keep your hands up around your face, you can't lose.
Yes. I mean, that is as simple as you can possibly say it. I mean, that's what we've seen time and time again, Steve. These guys just coming out here with their hands held up high and just trying to land that bread and breakfast punch. Aslan has actually come on very strong in this round. He's maintained his ground. He wasn't boxing as he was before in earlier rounds. And he's actually have Erdei on the back foot now. I mean, we haven't seen that, have we?
That's the truth. It's the first time, in fact, that Erdei's been pushed back by anybody in this competition.
Yeah.
Normally he just intimidates you and walks you down, but, well, Aslan having to change tactics here. He's boxed at long range, I think, quite well. In fact, very well, and not picked up a single point for it, so,
and he's actually being successful.
What the hell? Go and have a punch up instead.
And he's being successful, too, because for every punch that Erdei throws, he comes back with 3 or 4 of his own.
Oh, that's appalling.
Very inconsistent, Steve, this scoring system. But what can we say?
It's been consistent. It's been poor.
Absolutely. 100% absolutely, as O.J. Simpson once said.
What did he say?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yes, the scoring system about as deranged as government transport policy. It just makes no sense whatsoever. And
it seems to alter at times in favor of one or the other boxer, because we've seen the way in which Huster of Germany employed that style, where he was very high guard, didn't exert himself very much. The other boxer exerted himself throughout the contest, but yet Huster won. And then we've seen other occasions.
Are you saying that we haven't got rid of the corruption the system was meant to dig out?
I believe it's just my opinion. That's very much in force. That's very much in force.
So for fifth and final round then, and well, this looks a bit of a tragedy for a good-looking Turk by the name of Aslan Erjement, who's done some great work here, but it's not going to be recorded against Frederic Erdei of France. And I think we're going to leave it there. They must be wondering what on earth they need to do. The first 2 rounds was lovely boxing by this Turkish boxer, and then he's had a punch-up over the last couple, and still nothing scored.
Yes. And he's actually have Erdei on the back feet.
And he looks the far better fighter of the two, doesn't he?
Yes, he's landed the better combinations. Erdei, obviously, he's landed several clean shots, which obviously has been registered.
The combinations don't count anymore. And we have proof of that, and you're seeing it now. So Freddie Erdei then of France is on his way now to the gold medal. No doubt about that, but it does mean a fantastic haul, though, of medals for the Turkish boxers. They're going to get 2 silvers and a gold, and that's a cracking campaign for them, isn't it?
Aslan is doing his absolute best. He's doing every single thing that he can possibly do right now to try and get himself back in this competition, but whether it's a little bit too late is a different story. I mean, barring a spectacular knockout, this is a no-win situation for him.
That's right.
As we can see, the anxiety that's caused by the corner of the Turkish coaches here.
I reckon that Aslan will end up with 1 point at the end of this bout. That's only a guess.
Possibly so, Steve. Possibly so.
Well, once again, a crunching right there from Erdei. And it's all over now. Where have they gone? Well, it's not... Oh, well, yeah, look, 4-1.
Correct, Steve. Just 1 point registered for Erdei.
That's a terrible score. So Aslan Erdei then robbed, we think, of a gold medal here in the 1998 European Championships at the hands of Frederic Erdei of France. Of course, it's not his fault. He did his best, and he did it well. But we didn't think he did enough to win, did we?
We certainly didn't, Steve. However, Erdei, the 1998 European champion, what an accomplishment for him.
Absolutely. Still to come then, controversially, Zoltan Erdei of Hungary against Ireland's Brian McGee. He shouldn't even be in the final. Badly cut, of course, in his previous bout, and he's coming into this one with a plaster on his eye. He's in action here from the blue corner against Zoltan Erdei of Hungary. Now, we don't like the fact that Erdei is here at all. He picked up a horrible cut on the left eye in his previous bout. And, of course, that was against the Frenchman, Jean-Paul Mendy. But here he is in the final against Brian McGee. We thought McGee would get a bye because of that injury.
Yes, based on the rules, Steve, based on the severity of the cut that Erdei sustained in his last bout, you know, he would not be deemed fit to box by the doctor. I mean, could that be a possible show of favoritism, having the president of the IAB, who was Hungarian?
Well, that's a very interesting point, Adrian. Yes, the Amateur International Boxing Association president is Hungarian. We're not trying to suggest that, of course, any wrongdoing there, but it does make you wonder.
Or is it an acknowledgement of the authority of some nations over others in these major tournaments?
That's another good question. You can answer that one.
Well,
Zoltan Erdei, regardless, is a cracking fighter.
If you have your opinions, you can sure email Steve Holsworth on his email address, which is Steve Holsworth, all small letters, @hotmail.com.
Thank you, Adrian. Yes, he made me an email site earlier, so there you are. If you've got anything to say about boxing, do it there. Steve Holsworth at hotmail.com. No spaces, all little letters. Anyway, back to this. Brian McGee from Ireland has been very impressive, and it's a major achievement for Brian to have got here. Of course, Paul Griffin was the most successful Irishman in recent years, and a gold medalist for Ireland in '91, bronze medalist in '93 in various tournaments. Damien Kelly, of course, got a bronze in '96 in the European Championships in Denmark. But you've got to go back. They've got a good history of boxers with major medals.
Should be noted, Steve, that Erdei is wearing a heavy plaster on that cut of his, and that's normally not allowed.
Well, there's no protection allowed in boxing, of course, above the waist, with the exception, in amateur boxing anyway, with the exception of a head guard, a gum shield, and that is it. And Erdei has come into this with a plaster on the cut. Now, you know, I think that's appalling. I will remind people, I fought a guy called Ove Lundby, Swedish Olympic bronze medalist, in fact, from 1976. And no offence, Ovi, but he had a plaster on a cut under his head guard.
He's a professional amateur.
Amateur, and, you know, I'm not saying I would have won, but it did affect the outcome. But anyway.
Well, not much action in this round. Obviously, Erdei of Hungary, he's protected himself very well here, but he finds himself 2 points up.
Oh, that's a massive score, isn't it, considering?
We've seen consistency on several other bouts, Steve. The first round, basically, we've watched 1 or 2 rounds where there's no scores whatsoever. It just so happened he's landed 2 punches, and there was nothing in that first round at all.
That's right.
Makes one wonder.
Makes one wonder. And, of course, the great Laszlo Papp. No one will ever be as good as him. Twice a European champion, of course, Laszlo. Worth mentioning that Jimmy Ingle in Dublin got a gold medal in 1939, as did Paddy Dowdall. In 47, Johnny Ryan got an English gold in the Europeans, and Gerard O'Colmaine got one for Ireland. 49 in Oslo, Maxie McCulloch got one for Ireland. 53 in Warsaw, Bruce Wells of England.
Erdei looking very concerned there. Obviously, that would have been at the forefront of his mind, that cut. I mean, as a boxer.
I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference here.
He's equipped himself very well. He had his guards very high, so he will be have that hand protecting that injury.
That's right.
One would have thought, though, Steve, McGee would have jumped on that, seeing that as a very vulnerable spot.
Yes, you can see that plaster very clearly from, well, you can see it there. And Brian McGee, of course, a veteran of the Atlanta Olympic Games. Didn't get very far, unfortunately, but he's had bags of international experience. And but the big problem is that Erdei is one of the most intimidating fighters there is in this championships. And, oh, the referee there having a look at that cut. Has it started to bleed, Adrian, I wonder?
It looks a little trickle of blood there on that the corner of the left eye.
And of course, Erdei, the reigning world champion, that in itself is a very intimidating fact.
Also, on merit, he is very strong, and he has been the best at this division we've seen in the competition. And as you've seen several times, he's actually much more aggressive than this that we're seeing here.
That's right. He put out, of course, Andrew Lowe of England in the quarter-final. And, well, Erdei looking to go one better than his silver medal in 1996 in this competition. But he was a former European junior.
Lovely right hand landed there by Erdei.
Champion.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Well, if McGee wants to win, it is one of the better chances he'll have, opportunity for him to actually become European champion.
And he's got to get that right jab pumping, no doubt about it. Nice left there, though, from Brian.
He's now beginning to try and take the lead to Erdei, whom, from a boxer's perspective, you will be jumping. That would be like icing on the cake.
Ooh, that'd be a red rag to a bull, that wouldn't it?
Yes.
Plaster over the eye. Goodness me, just let me get at that.
Yes, it'll be like ole every time the bull misses.
Yeah. But Brian not making the best of his opportunity here, I don't think. Where's the... Well, he's got 1 point on the board. 3-1 now with 2 rounds gone, so it's not impossible.
It's not impossible, as we've seen before, though. Once that lead starts to grow, it's hard to pull it back.
Absolutely right.
And I must say that against any Hungarian fighter, it becomes an extremely difficult lead to pull back. Sad to say.
So there he is then for Budapest. 23-year-old Zoltán Erdei.
We obviously cannot see that cut because the camera is facing on the right side, but it's actually a huge cut on his upper left.
And they are supporters of the Chernobyl Children's Project. And they're all cheering for Zoltán. Let's hope he can raise a few quid for that particular cause.
Good platform for their cause, too.
So round 3 then, and Brian McGee, this is a task within his grasp, but can he execute it? That is the major problem. Right jabs, Brian, that's what you need. Right hooks.
Needs a little bit more aggression, too.
But it's sad to see a man of Brian McGee's quality moving the wrong way against the southpaw. That's just so stupid, isn't it?
Well, it could be, you know, it depends on the strategy that was set out for him, too. You never know. Maybe they realized that maybe Zoltán Erdei has a very strong left hook, so they move it opposite direction. You never know, Steve.
That's true. Yes, there could be all sorts of reasons. the ability to go the right way.
Yes, whichever way. I mean, one would think that based on the nature of the injury that Erdei has, he will be capitalizing on that.
But he's actually moving away from it, isn't he?
Yes, he seems more of an intimidated rather than, you know, filling with anxiety to actually get those punches off, get his punches off. There's no jab being employed by him so far. Major success, though, for McGee to have got this far. He's in the European Championship final. He's only a couple of points behind after 2 rounds. And, oh, nice punches from McGee there. Lovely shots. But again, this Erdei, he's very strong. He just stays right there and he comes back at you. Yeah, he's a real tough guy. Brian, 22 years of age, of course, from the Holy Trinity Club in Belfast. And coming into this one, he had 40 wins in 50 bouts, trained by Harry Hoggins. Must be noted, Steve, compared to other bouts, not much clean punches being landed in this round, yet we're seeing a significantly high score. Yes, a Hungarian connection, possibly. Sad to say. Lovely combinations there, executed by Erdei. But they shouldn't count because they haven't yet in body shots. They haven't yet, but they may have with Erdei. We shall see when the bell rings. A couple of good shots there from Erdei right on the bell. And where have they gone? 5-2 now. Unbelievable.
GT presents.
Drawn 2 to go. And don't forget he's facing Zoltan Erdei. And that's an awfully controversial appearance in this final for Erdei, isn't it? It is, Steve. And McGee has a huge hill to climb here. And Zoltan obviously coming out there with a lot more confidence now. He's trying to establish his authority. Must say, though, Steve, Erdei, he has gotten to here on merit. I mean, he is absolutely the best. Absolutely right. Weight. Yep. So, forgive us for emphasizing too much on the rules here, but the rules are rules. Yeah, and the other thing is, actually, I remember Erdei boxing in Atlanta and thought he was very unlucky. I thought he was robbed in Atlanta. One of the few bad decisions, in fact, that we saw. So I don't really begrudge him getting to the final of the European Championships and, in fact, having a lead here, principally because I don't think McGee is doing quite enough. No, I'm absolutely in total agreement with that, because... he'll never get a better chance, will he? He'll never will. I mean, you know, it all based on his choice. He may choose to continue amateur, or he may choose to go professional, but this is his one chance of becoming champion of Europe, and I just can't understand his negative way of approaching this contest based on the vulnerability of Erdei, who obviously has realized that McGee is not taking the initiative, so he's about to, he's beginning to show a lot more confidence than he showed in the first half of the fight. Yes, and Brian, only 22 years of age, and this must be a terribly nerve-wracking experience for him. You know, great to have got this far, let's face it. Maybe there is that utmost respect given to the fact that the opponent who he's facing is very formidable. Yes, he's one of 3 Irish qualifiers. He's the last remaining, of course. Good shot there by Erdei. Once again, though, McGee fires up a combination. So far, I must say that this is one of Erdei's easier bouts that he's had so far in the competition. Yep. I mean, we have seen a lot more competitive bout in early round. Well, 7-2 now. And I'll tell you something, though, you know, I mean, one thing Brian needs to be very proud of. This is going to be the best Irish achievement in the Commonwealth, in the European Championships for goodness knows how long. Maybe mentally McGee has accepted the silver medal because he doesn't seem to be exerting much determination or effort to win, determination to win. Yes, sometimes it comes just down to the man who wants it most, doesn't it? Certainly does. Come on, Brian, let's have some fire from you. 7-2 behind. He's not going to win it on points, that's for sure. Boxing is a contest of character. But his biggest chance was to get that cup leading, right? Yes. Character and ingenuity. The boxer with the more will, skill, determination, and creativity comes out the victor. 9 out of 10 times. Absolutely right. So here we go then for the 5th and final session. And a great achievement this for Brian McGee. Got a lot further than a lot of people suspected. And don't forget, he had a difficult draw. There was the Germans were down there, the Ukrainian was there, the Russian, the Romanian, the Belarusian was down there. So, you know, he's come through a very tough part of this draw, and he's up against the reigning world champion.
Lovely fireworks. It's good to say fireworks, isn't it?
Why not?
Lovely combinations being executed there by Erdei, but everything has landed on McGee's guards there.
That was nice from Brian.
Yes, and two lovely uppercuts. Hopefully they would have landed, right, Steve?
Well, we know they landed, but did they get counted?
Yeah. Beginning to get jaded myself, Steve. I keep saying that.
Good round this for Brian McGee. Putting on banks of pressure here. And I'm just wondering if he'd have realised how successful he could have been if he'd have done this at the beginning. Look, Erdei's not enjoying this at all. But look, and once again, McGee there cracks him with a good right hand. And Erdei is in some kind of bother. He's terribly disorganised, isn't he?
Yes.
He's not used to this kind of fighting, that's what it is.
And he obviously seemed very much aware of that, ooh.
He's not used to being put under pressure. End of story.
He is, he's not. He's always used to taking that front lead, isn't he?
And, I just wonder how Brian would be feeling if he could do this all again.
Maybe just a little too late, Steve. Lovely right hand there by McGee.
Yes, McGee would like to start this one all over again as soon as that final bell goes, because he's having some great success here.
Oh, tomorrow when he looks at this, boy, he'll be kicking himself.
Well, it's all over now. Too late. Oh, goodness me. And I mean, McGee clearly won the last round and didn't get a single point. Erdei got 3. That's appalling. That is absolutely terrible.
Look at that plaster on Erdei's eye. It's just sticking out there. Unbelievable.
Oh,
very good last round for McGee, but I'm afraid a little too late.
Yes, too little, too late from McGee. But once again, the system failing the sport.
Tomorrow he will look at this and he'll be saying that familiar line. What I woulda, coulda, shoulda, but didn't.
Well, you know, once again, gotta say it. Gotta say it. Well, gold medal then for Hungary. Good luck to them. Under Lebzyak, and he's against Courtney Fry, England's last remaining hope in these championships. There is Alexander Lebzyak, the reigning world champion. He won it in Budapest in 1997, and of course he comes from Russia.
And as we've seen before, he's one of the more senior and more accomplished amateur boxing in this tournament.
That's right, and in the blue corner, of course, we have Courtney Fry from the Repton Boxing Club in London. 23 years of age, Courtney. Coming into this competition, very inexperienced, 30 wins in 40 bouts. And he's the reigning English champion at light heavyweight. And he's done well to get here, you know, Courtney Fry.
Great accomplishment for Courtney as well as for English boxing. As we know, the champion in each weight division do have a bonus to the national organization.
That's a fact. Which
funds are allocated for them to help with their training program. Courtney started off very fast here. He's trying to goad Lebzyak into false notion, that is.
And in 96, of course, England, well, we got a bronze medal, courtesy of David
lovely uppercut there by Lebzyak, and Courtney is obviously stunned there.
Well, standing count here against Courtney Fry in round 1. So, standing count then, and they don't count for anything, by the way, standing counts in amateur boxing anymore, and neither do knockdowns. I want a second standing count here against Courtney. Didn't really take a clean shot there, did he?
No, he's clear, he's very clear-headed, he's ready to go.
Rough start this, though, by...
In comes the towel. In comes the towel, Steve.
Well, he didn't get the slightest chance. Ianova, once again, very timid.
I mean, the boxer's safety comes first, but based on what we've just seen here, you know, that's a clear evidence of rush to judgment there. I mean,
yes, I don't like that, I must admit. I've seen Ianova throw in the towel far too quickly on other occasions. He will disagree with me, as I'm sure many would, but in my opinion, I think he's always far too quick to jump at that.
Yes, the boxer's safety comes first. We have no doubt about that. But based on what we've just seen there, I mean, Courtney was not that. He was stunned, obviously. He clear-headed. The referee gave him clear admonitions, and he ordered to go the contest to continue. And in comes Towel. I mean,
that's a great pity for Courtney. Gets a silver, though. That's the best result for England since 1961, when Frankie Taylor got gold for England. So Alexander Lebzyak, and by the way, Lebzyak also was judged the most outstanding boxer of the tournament. There he is then, Alexander Lebzyak, the light heavyweight European champion for 1998.
We have the talent, Steve, to do a lot better than this.
And here we go. This is, we're looking at Giacobe Fragameni against the last remaining man from Belarus, Sergei Dichkov, in the heavyweight division.
And a fascinating contest to look forward to, Steve. This Italian, he's quite a character.
He certainly is, and the man from Belarus in the blue corner, the Italian, Fragameni, of course, boxing out of the red corner. So this is the locals. Well, they actually did very well, you know, qualifying-wise. They had 8, and this is their last hope, the man in blue.
Obviously, he'll have the huge crowd support behind him.
Round 1 of the scheduled 5.
Not much in height and size between these two guys. Obviously, a little bit taller from Belarus, Dushkov. But they both have very similar styles.
Absolutely right, yes, and well, it'd be nice to see the Italians do well at this level, but you kind of hope that the local, well, the promoting country gets something out of these championships. Good work there by this Italian.
What a cracking start, Steve. Both these guys are not willing to eat anything here. They're both exchanging some very hard shots. This is going to be a very difficult one for the judge to score, obviously.
Well, it'll be easy for them to score, I think, Adrian. They just go 0-0.
Beautiful right hand landed there by the Belarusian Dushkov. Caught.
Good bout this. Nice to watch, isn't it?
Yes, it certainly is.
Giacobe Fragameni, 28 years of age, 60 wins in 70 coming into this one. Winner of the bronze in the World Championships in 1997, but holder of the Mediterranean Games Championship. And it's interesting that Dichkov was runner-up in the World Junior Championships in '94 and got 5th position in the Atlanta Olympics. And we've got a right old punch up here.
Ooh,
in
beautiful right hand there landed by Dichkov. And another again. This is fireworks. Neither man is willing to take a back step, Steve.
Yes.
They hardly even heard the bell rung there.
Look at that score. Oh, that must be a record.
I mean, there weren't that much between that round, is it, Steve?
No. So there is Giacobe Fragameni of Italy, and he's 3-0 behind after the first round.
A very decorated body art there, isn't it, on Fragameni of Italy?
Is it art?
Maybe it's called style.
So once more, touch of replay here from that first session. One of the best first rounds, in fact, we've seen, and clearly one of the highest scoring so far. 3-0 to the man from Belarus.
Both landing very clean shots there. Obviously, only one being registered.
That's right. He comes from the city of Minsk, of course, where these championships are coming from, which is why there's so many people in the crowd. Well, Sergei Dichkov is going to win this one, hands down, don't you think?
Well, you sure have to support him. So far, he sure seems to have the judge in his corner.
Round 2, then, of the scheduled 5.
Lovely right hand there. But again, the tenacity of Fragamelli of Italy. He just comes back in there throwing those winging shots. Lovely left hook there by Fragamelli. But again,
excellent. This great work by these lads, and there was a stagger there, I thought, from Fragamelli. He got staggered by a left hook from Ditchkov.
Got caught with a cracking body shot there. Fragamelli.
So, win here, you take a gold home.
Based on this pace, Steve, the boxer here with the better condition and the more determination will surely must be the victor, because there's not much in finesse and style. They're just right there. No one is taking a back step, and those punches just letting go.
One of the most attractive matches we've seen, though, in this entire tournament.
Absolutely.
You don't get this kind of action generally, do you, in amateur boxing at this level?
Not anymore anyway, Steve. Especially based on the system.
That's right. They tend to sanitize it so much that exchanges like this just simply don't exist.
Common sense will dictate that this will make for a very mentally irregular for judges who have to score this one. Lovely right hand landed there by Ditchkov of Belarus. The crowds are standing on their feet. I can see there in the foreground Fragamelli's team supporters. They're right up there by the ring apron shouting instructions.
So Giacomo Fragamelli in the red vest is under the cosh here in round 2. And Sergei Ditchkov.
Back comes Fragamelli. Lovely right over the top there that he landed cleanly on the face of Ditchkov.
Bell's coming up to end this round. In fact, there it is. They didn't even hear it. Crunching round, wasn't it?
Excellent, excellent.
So, well, that's interesting.
He's registered. At least he's let us register 3 shots this round.
Well, that means that Ditchkov won that round 4-3.
He's breathing heavily there in between rounds, Fragamelli of Italy.
I'm not surprised.
But he seems very determined, Steve. I mean, he's up for this, isn't he?
He certainly is.
I mean, this is the finals here. There's no going back. Here's a replay here showing some of the action. Lovely mister with that right.
I believe
very cleanly punches landed there in that replay by neither fighter.
So they are Giacomo Fragamelli from Milan, 29 years of age, one of the elder statesmen in this 1998 European Championships. 7-3 behind, against Sergei Ditchkov.
But in the heavyweight division, Steve, it's not much of a significant in age, is it? I mean, he's on the disadvantage side as far as height is concerned, but he sure makes up for that in determination.
Absolutely. So round 3 then, and it's been an absolute belter, this one.
If only one will just step back and execute those clean shots. Beautiful punches.
I'm glad they don't. It's been a belter.
But every time Ditchkov throws those combinations, back comes Fragamelli of Italy. He's very determined. He's trying to employ that very high guard that has been successful for many other boxers. Good upper body movement there by Fragamelli of Italy. Slipping those punches very well. Good body shots. Back comes Ditchkov. This is a back and forth match, isn't it, Steve?
This one is swinging very, very attractively, one way, then the other. And of course the big question, as you said before, Adrian, who's got the staying power? Because they've started like trains, these two.
The boxer with the more determination and the more condition in this contest sure will come out the victor.
Well, Fragamelli having some success here.
The way he came up the ropes there using the combination is very nice to see. Most coaches advise you to fight your way off the ropes.
That's right, and this Ditchkov, by the way, only 21 years of age. Very good prospect.
Not much between these two guys, Steve. Unfortunately, it'll have to be a loser here, isn't it?
Yes, it's a great pity. I can understand, of course, trying to find a winner in a championship.
We've seen some unusual. Here is a guy right there in the corner with the cameraman. screaming, yelling.
Oh, goodness, it's really closed up
It's
now.
very close.
8-6.
Not much in it, Steve, is it?
No, there's 3 rounds gone, and it's 8-6, and that's fascinating. That means it was 3 points to 1 in favour of Fragomeni in round 3.
Yes. And he has shown the determination here. He's come back every single time that Dushkov has thrown, came up with his combination. He's just come right back at him.
Well, this is not beyond Fragomeni.
There is a chance.
You kind of hope, though, that the local man's going to get it, don't you?
Well, based on the crowd support and based on how the first round went, 3-0, I mean, one would have a bias to think that it won't go that way.
That's right, and of course Belarus qualified 8. This is their last chance. Here he is, Sergei Dichkov.
This one obviously looks like it's going to be a difficulty for the judges. Hopefully.
So, 2 points behind, still Fragomeni coming into round 4.
Very, very tough fight. Very,
And if
very
he can-
intense competition here.
Yep, if he can keep it up, though, who knows?
And should be noted, this should be one that will be very difficult to compute.
It's the highest scoring contest we've seen so
Yes.
far. Collective score, that is.
Good upper body movement, and he's using his height as an advantage here. He's obviously much shorter, but he's moving that head, Fragomeni of Italy.
Doing very well.
Dushkov seems to be tiring a little bit. He's not that fluid with his punch as he was in earlier rounds, in the earlier stage. Lovely right there by Dushkov.
Great effort this, though, by, is it Frago or Frajo?
Fragomeni.
Yeah.
He looks a long way from being fragile, is it?
That's right. Well, the
Obviously
corner's been kicked out. That's going to cost a point.
The Italians there, they're being cautioned actually. They're not being kicked out of the corner.
Oh, I thought he'd been thrown out there.
No, they obviously are into the fight. Everyone seems to be into this fight, including us.
How can they expect the corner man to be quiet? It's ridiculous.
They're the teammates there of Fragomeni, the Italians in the blue there, as you can see them outside the ropes. They're all in this contest here. Very
Good
determined.
shot.
Beautiful right overhand right there by Fragomeni.
Well, after a great start by Dichkov, he's starting to fade a wee bit.
Yes, he actually exerted himself a lot in the first half of the fight, so now he looks a little bit on the tired side.
And once again, Fragomeni landing good, hard, solid punches.
But back comes Dushkov with a very good right hand there. Landed clean. Both these guys, their lungs must be burning at this stage.
Sure.
But the one with the more will here, the one with more determination, who wants it more? Steve?
Oh, good
What
shot.
a nice right hand.
Where have they gone now? Oh, my goodness me. Oh, my goodness.
Ooh.
And it's going the wrong way, isn't it, for Belarus?
So far, Steve. And good judgment. We must say one of the better judgments we've seen because Fragomeni has been landing the cleaner, more effective punches, and he's shown them more determination.
But it's ironic, isn't it? Of all the times they should get it wrong, they get it right.
Jesus.
You know, I mean, I wouldn't begrudge Belarus getting a gold medal here. But it's 8-8, this man from Minsk.
All comes down now in the last round. Who wants it more, Steve?
Yes.
And who is in the better condition? So far, Dushkov of Belarus, he looks to be very tired.
It's a 2-minute fight.
That lungs is burning. Those legs, you know, his head must be saying one thing, but the leg must be saying, Jesus, I want to go someplace else.
Yes. So here we go then, a full house in Minsk for their last chance for gold. And here we go. And that looks very interesting there.
Excellent.
Giacomo Fragomeni comes out looking very confident as we start round 5, and it's all on this.
Oh,
crunching
lovely
shot
right
again.
hand. Landed there.
Oh,
Oh, and
and
again,
it's got him.
this is spectacular.
Oh, goodness me, look at this. And what a gutsy performance this by...
Fragomeni of Italy. I mean, he's thrown everything, Steve, isn't he?
Yeah, but what a gutsy performance by Sergei Dichkov. I mean, he's taken some booming shots there, and he's bleeding now from the nose and mouth.
Well, he has a whole audience full of people keeping him on his feet there, too.
Fantastic finish this, and there's a cut. Fragomeni looks like he's got a cut.
Oh, that could be very dangerous
Well,
for
he's just kicked
Fragomeni.
out. Now he's just kicked out the...
But look, they both want to go at it still.
So both cornermen have been dismissed now. So one from each corner have been dismissed, and that makes a massive difference. But this has been excellent work by Fragomeni, and such a gutsy performance is by Dishkov.
But Dushkov is coming on strong now in this part of the round.
And this has been the best fight so far we've seen.
The best fight we've commentated on too, Steve.
Well, suddenly Dishkov tries to come back. Can Fragomeni keep those arms pumping?
Good hook.
We're seconds away.
He's finishing strong, Fragomeni. He's coming up those ropes very effectively.
Oh, once again,
Ooh.
he's got Dishkov in trouble here.
The cleaner shot just landed there. Ooh, another right hand. Both have landed.
Oh, referee
it's
says
being
that was
cautioned
a
for
slap.
slapping. Come on.
Just giving Dishkov possibly a time, just a second to recover there from a good punch. Great performances from both men. They'll remember this one, won't they?
Oh, very much so. Shame to have a loser in this contest. They should have 2 gold medals here.
Yes.
They're both tied and it's over. The Italians in the ring, so obviously Fragomeni must have won that.
Well, Fragomeni gets it
12-9.
12-9. So a fantastic performance by the Italian, beating the local man by 3 points. And what a comeback. That's the biggest comeback I can remember. Well, in amateur boxing, it's ludicrous. He was 3-0 down at the end of round 1, and he comes and wins 12-9.
Yes. He's absolutely shattered there, Steve. Those lungs must be really burning there. And the corner came out and jumped on him, too. I mean, you would have thought they would lift him up.
What a great fight. What a great fight.
Oh, there he is. He's showing the crowd. Be quiet. I've silenced you all. A little bit of a alley character there.
What a great fight.
Very sporting gesture by both boxers. Sad to see Dishkov there.
Yes. Great
Sad
save, the
loser.
local man. Superb win, though, for Fragomeni of Italy, their only gold medal of the European Championships this year. Well, in the super heavyweights, we had Lebzyak of the Ukraine against the Russian. Here we go. So, there you are then. Alexei Loyazin of Russia declared the winner in the super heavyweight division, and a big score there, 9-1, beating the Ukrainian Vladimir Lebzyak. Well, we've had a tremendous European Championships from Minsk. It's been great fun. My name's Steve Holson. I've been with Adrian Dodson. We saw, and you're watching now, the conclusion of all the finals. And we saw some great stuff tonight. And it's worth mentioning that I suppose the most successful side really would have been the Turks. But the Russians, of course, with 5 finalists. Great stuff. England, of course, getting a silver medal. Ireland getting a silver medal. Great performances from those lads. Adrian, what's your abiding memory?
It's certainly